How much would we have left over if we only kept what we really use? I'm doing a seasonal reset today. Nor a thorough cleaning, nor a total overhaul. All I want to do is go over the areas I touch on a daily basis. Everyone keeps packing in the living room corner, which is once again full when you turn your back on them, and the cabinets and drawers I open. And I'm putting you to the test this time. In a single morning, tidy everything up. I'll take you through each section in a quick, simple, and at-home manner. Let's begin. Review from the previous season is number 1. I don't go through my entire closet and force myself to perform a complete makeover when the seasons change. That's just too much. Rather, I offer a straightforward inquiry while concentrating on the clothing from the previous season. In fact, have I worn this in the previous 3 months? It's obvious that it's time to get rid of them if the response is negative. Because I've dropped weight, I recently threw away a dress I purchased for a trip that no longer fits. It no longer worked for me, but it was still lovely and in excellent shape. In addition, I gave away an old tank top that I loved but hadn't worn all summer. I continued going over it, which is a silent cue that we frequently overlook. Even while these things might still be tasty, that doesn't guarantee they're healthy for you at the moment. Reviewing your wardrobe on a seasonal basis allows you to be honest with yourself. Not with clarity, but with clarity. You begin to curate a closet that supports the woman you are today, rather than storing clothing for a past self. Avoiding decision fatigue is another benefit of reviewing seasonally. Every morning you don't waste time looking through items you no longer wear. You don't seem to mind that I should wear this more, or that it still doesn't fit. Rather, everything in front of you is there for a reason, so you feel at ease. A seasonal wardrobe assessment is similar to a sincere and compassionate self-check-in. Additionally, even a brief hiatus once every few months can have a daily impact. It goes beyond what you wear. When you walk up to your clothes every morning, it's about how supported you feel. The second rule is to avoid a dirty, clear closet. This is among the most frequent errors we make when decluttering. Although you don't yet have a place to store it, you know exactly what you want to let go of. To deal with it later, you either put it on the floor, throw it on a chair, or arrange it in a small mound in the corridor. The rest of the house appears worse, despite the wardrobe becoming cleaner. I've been there. You feel like you've made progress, but all of a sudden your motivation is gone when you see the pile of trashed clothing at the foot of your bed. The answer is straightforward, but effective. Get a container ready before you begin. Whatever works, a cardboard box, a bag, or a laundry basket. Put it directly next to the area you're clearing out. After that, every item you sort through gets directly into that container. The experience of the process can be totally transformed by this small amount of preparation. You remain in one area. You maintain your concentration and avoid creating piles that you will need to go back to later. Additionally, it provides a visual finish line. You're done for the day when the box is filled, and everything that is no longer useful to you is already contained and prepared for donation or disposal. It might not seem like much, but keeping your house tidy will be made easier if you have a clear structure in place before you begin. Third, make judgments quickly. It should not be picked up more than twice. Taking up an item, setting it down, and then taking it up again later, because you're still unsure about it, is one of the factors that makes cleaning out a closet take longer than necessary. Everything requires a significant amount of time and effort. I used to save shirts that I hadn't worn all summer since they were still in good condition. I picked it up and put it away each time I cleaned until I established a rule. It was gone if I had to pick it up again. You don't need to look at every item in detail. Simply inquire, would I like to wear it next week? Put it in the bag if not. Simply keep moving forward. Avoid focusing too much on one thing at a time. By doing this, you can avoid becoming mired in trivial thoughts and finish the reset in a single morning as opposed to a week. I then swiftly tidy the children's rooms. Additionally, I didn't make things too complicated, just like when I sorted through my own wardrobe. I concentrated on summer clothing, shoes, toys, and other stuff from the previous season that needed to be used, but weren't. This allowed me to get started without feeling overburdened. I didn't give it my all. I simply opened every drawer and shelf and gave it a new perspective. I discovered stuff I hadn't previously noticed in a single afternoon. A couple of unused sun hats, 2 tight summer shirts, sandals that had been thrown in the corner, and even a pair of 2 tight trainers that my kid insisted on wearing despite my warnings that they were too small. Even if they were still in fine shape, getting rid of items that weren't being utilized helped create space for items that might be beneficial in the present. Additionally, it prevents me from unintentionally accumulating items. You know, the items we have on hand for emergencies but never use. A stack of t-shirts that no one chose, a puzzle with a missing piece, or an inadequately sized swimwear. Something changes when those things are gone. The room seems lighter. Mornings run more smoothly when the children's rooms are easier to handle, which facilitates the flow of energy. Less hurrying, less fighting, and more space for them and me to breathe. The 5th piece of advice is to get together first and think later. The stack of papers and other random objects is one of the areas of the house that I find most annoying when cleaning. It's obviously messy, yet it's not quite stuff. I therefore made the decision to stop hesitating throughout this reset. I brought a large garbage bag, and I immediately collected everything that was spread out, including cardboard, paper, plastic bottles, and random items. Then moved it to separate what should be thrown out and what should be recycled. Unlike before, I didn't stand there wondering where to put this. I was able to clean twice as quickly with this strategy, and more significantly, it prevented me from feeling overwhelmed by the task of cleaning and having to make decisions on everything at once. You regain the initiative when you get together first. However, you risk getting bogged down in the intricacies and giving up midway if you tackle every issue as soon as you see it. This provides me a sense of control over even the smallest items in the house, in addition to helping me tidy an area that can easily become a cause of procrastination. Watch the following video for 5 cleaning strategies for a neat and tidy house if you want to maintain a clean home without spending all day cleaning. Simple, yet quite useful small tips. I hope they won't be missed. The 6th piece of advice is to carefully blend tasks. I used to do all of the cleaning in isolation, which was one of my worst blunders. I would sweep first, then mop, then think about the laundry, and then return to the kitchen counter. It seems well organized, but in practice, it only makes things take longer because I kept going around the same spots and becoming tired every time. I now know how to combine tasks that make sense together. For instance, I clean the counter while the kettle is boiling. I scrub the bathroom sink a little as the laundry soaks. I put the mail away or take out the garbage while dinner is boiling on the stove. Despite not interfering with one another, these subtly accumulate. It's not about attempting to do 10 things at once or multitasking. It involves arranging your routines in a logical layer. Instead of waiting or allowing your thoughts to wander, you're making use of those brief in-between moments. In addition to saving time, this approach fosters uninterrupted continuity. In addition to being spotless throughout, the property is being updated in a clever and far less taxing manner. Limiting your storage space is the 7th piece of advice. We frequently believe that having additional cupboards and shelves will make our home more organized. But this isn't always the case. You are more likely to store more items than you need if you have more storage space. Why? Because you will always have a reason to occasionally keep an item when you have additional storage space. There's always a place for everything, so it can stay. In the past, I had a little standing cabinet in my living room corner. Initially, aromatic candles and a few books were kept there. However, it became a space for everything after a few months. I didn't use some of the things my kids drew, but I didn't know where to store extra batteries, an unplayed chess set, or a present from someone. The crucial thing is that I simply left stuff there and didn't think about it until I cleaned it up and discovered I was keeping items I didn't actually need since there was room. I then made the decision to clear out the wardrobe and make myself keep the living room to a minimum. I have to ask myself if I really need something if it doesn't have a designated spot. The point is that space isn't the only factor in wardrobe limitation. It involves making yourself hold on to more possessions than you actually need. Reducing space allows you to keep fewer items and maintain constant cleanliness. It is not necessary for you to recall what is in this or that drawer. Additionally, you lessen the attitude of let's deal with it tomorrow. The 8th piece of advice is to store your holiday decorations. Every season has its favorites for most of us. Yard string lights, picnic blankets, summer cushions, or those adorable tiny banners of sunshine. And we manage to add one more each year. However, this is what I've observed. At the conclusion of the season, I always carefully store a few items that I never use again. Perhaps they no longer fit the atmosphere. Perhaps I'm too busy to make use of them. Or perhaps I simply don't remember they exist. In any case, you're unlikely to need something next summer if you don't use it this summer. Therefore, clearing out those neglected pieces does not imply that you have ceased decorating. It's about deciding to hold on to the things that make you happy instead of burdening yourself with clutter that might come up next year. Organizing your festive present box will help you feel excited rather than overwhelmed when you open it. This little adjustment has a huge impact. Decorating will feel light and enjoyable when the next season arrives, rather than like going through old, misplaced, or forgotten objects. Every item you unpack has a purpose and makes you smile, so you'll realize that you're genuinely enjoying the process. Most significantly, you won't have to waste time and effort repackaging, transferring, and storing items you don't even desire. The outcome is a home that is both festive and easy to maintain. Making a maybe box is tip number 9. Being uncertain is one of the most difficult aspects of decluttering. Some objects feel too important to be thrown away, while others hold memories. And you wind up keeping everything since you are unable to make a decision at once. The maybe box enters the picture. Undecided goods should be put in a box, marked with the current date, and kept out of sight rather than being put back in your closet or drawer. After 3 or 6 months, set a reminder. That's your response if you didn't grasp for those things at the time. You've already shown that you don't need them, so you can let them go guilt-free. The pressure to choose now or never is eliminated with this approach. In addition to giving you breathing room, it keeps things that you might use in the future from taking up everyday space in your life. Setting modest finish lines is tip number 10. We think of decluttering as one big undertaking, which is one reason it seems never-ending. The entire garage, kitchen, and closet, and we burn out in the middle. Instead, dissect it. Say to yourself, I'm just going to finish this one drawer, or I'll clear this one shelf. Your finish line is that. Even if the rest is left for another day, hitting it gives you the sense of accomplishment. These little wins add up over time. And the secret is that it takes more than one long weekend to create a clean home. It is constructed in a number of tiny, finished steps. You gain momentum at every finish line, and that momentum keeps you moving forward fearlessly. A calmer you, as well as a cleaner home, are the outcomes, because you live with continuous progress rather than a never-ending to-do list. I therefore reset the lights throughout the house in a matter of hours. The storage doesn't need to be touched. You don't have to remove everything. Simply go over the items I really use and tidy up more plainly. Every reset like that makes me feel more at ease, in addition to making the house cleaner. I also think more clearly. Just a few minor adjustments are sufficient to remind me that I am in charge of my living area. Nothing elaborate or flawless. Hopefully, this video has provided you with some simple ideas that you may implement to update your home in your own unique style. Watch the following video for 5 cleaning strategies for a neat and tidy house if you want to maintain a clean home without spending all day cleaning. Simple yet quite useful small tips. I hope you won't miss